It's never normal.
Welcome, Renee Santos.
Welcome, Jackie Monahan.
Well, hello, everybody. Renee, what's today's episode about?
So today we are going to talk about social media and technology and the good versus evil side of this. We are excited to have this conversation. I think it's an important conversation to have because I have such mixed feelings about it. And we have a special guest who also today will be sharing his feelings about what is normal to him and his opinion about social media. I hear he actually has a few jokes for us. Guys, it's really worth sticking around. Our special guest today is the little boy that I used to nanny for. His name is Ari. He's a very, very spirited 8-year-old. And we thought, you know what? If we're going to ask people what they think is normal, we should ask every kind of person, from young to old to school kids that have been in quarantine. So we're going to talk to him for a little while in the show in a couple minutes here. Jackie and I are pumped. Jackie's never really talked to him, so I'm going to let her do all the talking.
What?
I'm just joking.
How exciting.
How the hell are you? How was your week?
It's never normal here. My week was good. My week is good. How was yours?
It was good, but I must say I was prompted to come up with this theme for today because I've had a little bit of social media mayhem this week, navigating it and doing shows and getting
Do tell.
Yeah, I feel like yay, Colleen is here.
Hi, Colleen.
Colleen, we're bringing the 8-year-old little boy I used to nanny for onto our show today, and it's gonna be super exciting.
Colleen Ladrick. I love your last name, Ladrick. Such a good name.
Yeah. What Ladrick is that Irish?
Ladrick. So good. So strong.
I don't know. It's a good
Colleen's very Irish. I'm Colleen Ladrick.
So social media, you're on TikTok, which you're pretty good. You're savvy with TikTok. I am not so savvy with TikTok. I have a TikTok, but I've not actually utilized it. Like, I literally just have a profile page and I haven't done anything with it. And I feel like part of it is because I feel really overwhelmed learning a new platform, but I hear it really resonates for people. So I'd love to hear your opinion on TikTok. I'm an Instagram kind of girl, but I feel like let's talk about TikTok first. Hit me.
I kind of got a lot of following in the very beginning, and then I think I got shadow banned.
What does shadow banned mean?
I don't know. Well, this is the whole thing. Shadow banning is when first of all, I did pretty good. I have what is it called? The verified check on Twitter. I do pretty good on Twitter, and not fantastic, but pretty good.
Okay, what does that mean? See, this is how not social media savvy I am. I feel like I was a little late to this game, but I don't know. What does verified mean? It
means I am the Jackie Monahan. If somebody else is, so that people, when they're looking for Jackie Monahan, as in me, and they see the check, they know it's an actress, somebody who's in the public eye.
Got it.
Not just any Jackie Martin.
Not just
So,
any Jackie Martin.
Not that anybody is more, we are abolishing the notion that anybody is superior or inferior. But I want people to be able to find me right away. So you want to get verified, right?
See, that's, I think, part of the conversation that we need to be having today, because I'm around like a lot of young people who are really placing their value and their worth on like social media followings. And I think there's so many blessings about social media followings. Like I've reconnected with people that like I knew from elementary school that I never would have found unless I was using social media platforms.
Right.
Like I've been able to really nurture my comedy during this whole quarantine thing, to be able to go live, to do what we're even doing right now. Like there's so many beautiful things about social media. But I have those moments where I'm like, 20 years ago, we became fully developed people without ever being validated by clicks or likes. And like, what's happening to this younger generation where we're like, oh my God, if we don't have this many likes, like, who are we? Like, I worry about that.
Yeah, for me, I'm grateful to not have grown up with that. There's pros and cons of it. There's pros and cons of everything. At the same time, when I was younger, if there was social media, I would have done fantastic on it because I was so creative and funny and doing crazy things. I know I would have a bigger following if I was younger doing it. But I'm glad I got to be in the moment without all that shenanigans, because I don't understand how young people can navigate life without that. Like, we can verify ourselves. We don't need social media to verify ourselves because we were brought up being able to verify ourselves. So I just think there's pros and cons of it, and moderation is the answer to everything. But yeah, so yeah, it's really being able to verify yourself. It's very, very important. I think it should even be taught in schools because it's too much. Like,
yeah, I think this is a conversation that needs to happen. It's kind of like when we took typewriting classes, where like once we knew that things were going to move to like using computers, and computers were going to be a regular part of our life, and internet was going to be a regular part of our lives, like it became part of our curriculum. And I feel like there's not enough education actually put around the benefits of social media, how to utilize it. Not that I'm saying that teachers should be teaching kids how to start Instagram pages, you know what I mean? But like,
oh yeah, no, I mean, they should teach them how to verify themselves and not have to rely on social media. Like, I think that should be taught.
Definitely. Well, I feel like this could be a really great time to ask a youthful person, not that we're not youthful, but I mean really youthful, what his feelings about this. You are pretty youthful. You're you're the most youthful, playful person I know. That doesn't ever have to go away. But I thought that I would bring, so I got to give you guys a little bit of an intro to our special guest. Ari Fenton, I know that you can hear me. He has just logged on to the stream. We're going to bring him on in a couple minutes here. But he was the perfect person to ask this question. We're going to ask him what he thinks normal is, and ask him a little bit about this social media thing and having technology in the palm of our hands, and from a kid's perspective, how, if that's normal or not normal. But before I bring him on, he's a very animated, fun character, and I knew that he would be a perfect candidate for this when, at his last birthday, he schooled me on the floss. So before I bring him on, I have to show you a couple of little Ari special moments when he flossed, and then when I also did my first parody with him. Enjoy, everybody. Ari Fenton's coming on next.
Ariel, will you do it with Ari?
Ari Fenton, everybody! And now, the culminating moment, As many of you know, I do a segment called Purple Hoodie Parodies, and I actually wrote my very, very first parody with this young man that's about to come onto our show. So I'm going to share that with you now, and then we're going to bring Ari on.
Ready? Collaborate and listen. Ari's back with a brand new tradition. Something grabs a hold of me tightly. Fly like a hawk, daily and nightly. When are you gonna stop? Well, I don't know. Turn off the lights and I flow to the
Stream like a phantom, Ari and Seth turn into candles.
Ari, baby. Do, 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 do. Ari, baby. Do, 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 do. That's the best video ever.
So cute.
Welcome to Never Normal. Let's give a round of applause for Mr. Ari Fenton, everybody. Ari Fenton! Hi, honey. Welcome to Never Normal. Thanks for joining us. Oh no, did your thing freeze? This is what's not normal in my opinion, is that we are dependent upon internet where we can interact with each other. Yay, you're here. Handsome. How are you? Wait, you're freezing. Your internet
Colleen
is
said
unstable.
you're so cute.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Colleen Everett said you're really cute. Sorry.
Thank you.
Look at this. Look at you already have a fan, Ari Fenton. So, buddy, thank you for joining us today. I don't know if you've been watching so far. Did you see the parody that you and I did together a couple years ago? Do you remember that song? Do you remember doing that with me? I feel like maybe we should do, before we get started, we should do like a quick live rendition of that song. How do you feel about that, Ari Fenton? Are you ready? Could you do it? Do you think you could do it with me? You can't. Okay, you don't have to do it. Well, let me ask you a question. You don't remember?
Ari, we want to ask you your definition of normal. What normal means to you?
There's no wrong answer. You know how I used to tell you when you had wrong answers in your homework? Let me just hit us, buddy. What is normal to you?
What I would say that normal is you have to be playing. You have to be
normal is what?
Okay. I'll play some tower defense. I get popped out. Done. I buy a soldier. I buy a medic. I buy a bomb. I buy a lot of things. But and here's my thing. No offense to people that are in casts, but I don't think having a cast is a normal thing.
All right, so you're saying no offense. But
no offense.
Normal, so you're saying normal, no offense that having a cast isn't normal.
Wait, do you have a cast? Is that why that's not normal?
Yeah.
Show us your cast. Oh my gosh! So you're not able to walk normally.
I have two different colors. It's coming off tomorrow for good. Thank that Lord. I do not want this cast.
So
that's a fair answer. It's not normal to walk around with a cast. Are you able?
Help me take showers.
Are you using crutches or do you have a boot?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have a boot, buddy? How does that work nowadays? They don't make you use crutches.
I didn't break my leg.
You didn't break your leg?
My parents think it's so important.
Is it because you're at home and you have nowhere to go, so you jumped off something?
They're trying to stop that.
Ari, let me ask you another question about normal. How normal has school felt to you this year? Has that been weird? We want to know, especially we're talking about technology and social media and all this stuff, and I feel like you guys know more about it at 8 than I ever knew. I don't even think they had computers when I was your age. All right. Tell me a little bit about your
The only
experience,
thing I
the not
know
normal
about is
experience of going to
Instagram
school right now.
is
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Ari.
But here's the thing. First of all, I hate CR. No.
You hate CR? What's
Horrible
CR?
subject. No, it's my weakest subject, and I've taken 2 days for a practice.
And you're doing that
Taking it all
virtually,
2
right? Are you in
days.
live school?
I always get in trouble by
Say it one more time.
I'm in Zoom school. No.
You're in video school?
It's still horrible because my teachers always give texts to my parents. I don't do my homework because I don't want to.
You don't want to do your homework? Do you have to wear face masks in your classroom? Wait, buddy, you're moving around too much.
I know, but I'm not.
It's okay because we're not normal either. Ari, I have an idea. If you can't stay still, Jackie and I will move around just as much as you do. Okay, ready?
What is CR? What is CR?
What is CR? We're going to move around the entire
Is it
time.
classroom?
It's CR. It is a writing subject that is absolutely.
Creative writing. Creative reading?
Creative reading and writing? CR, creative reading.
Did you read A Wrinkle in Time yet?
Writing.
A Wrinkle in Time's the best book. Read it before you see the movie. A Wrinkle in Time.
Well, Ari Fenton, you are a delight, and thank you for answering our question. But wait, hold tight for just a second, little man, because you know that both Jackie and I, when I'm not a nanny, I'm a stand-up comedian, and Miss Jackie Monahan over here is also a stand-up comedian. But a little birdie told me that you have a couple jokes for us before you leave us today. Will you hit us with those jokes? But you lower your camera because I want to see your face when you talk to us.
Let's get into.
Okay, give us a joke.
So let's get in. So why do kids eat their homework?
Why?
Why do kids
Any
eat their
ideas?
homework?
Oh, it's almost like the teacher told them it was a piece of cake. So they just
It was a piece of cake. Your homework was a piece of cake. That's
yes.
a good one. Ari Fenton, everybody.
Hey,
All right, one last joke. Give it to me.
Ask me any question.
Ask you any question? Why are you the
Ask
cutest
me
kid
any
I've ever
question
nannied?
that you would like.
We want to
Why
hear
are
the
you-
next joke.
Why are you so cute?
Don't know? Now go not to ask me another question.
Do not ask me another question.
Donut. What about let us?
Donut.
Let us know.
Let us know.
Do not. Donut.
Now, let's all leave.
Donut let us.
Do
Ew.
not. I got one last joke for you. It's not mine. I can't claim it. But Ari, knock knock.
Yeah.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Oh, I know what you're doing.
Nobody knows what she's doing. Who's
Knock
there?
knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Who's there? Banana who?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Orange.
Orange who?
Orange, you glad I didn't say banana?
What? Come on, Ari. Can you take it?
Ari, thank you so much for not doing your homework and defying your parents to be on our show today. You are cute. Don't ever be normal. It's why I love you. Thank you for joining us. We're going to say goodbye.
Well, Orange, you glad
I love you, Ari. Thank you.
Hi, nice to meet you, Ari. Thank you for the jokes and fun.
How cute is that child?
He's so cute. I can't believe you got to know him for 5 years.
Yeah, when I started, he was in diapers. I know he doesn't want to hear that. Yeah, and now he's like 8, and it's been amazing, which is, some of the beautiful things about technology. And like, I moved from New York City, where he lives, to LA a year ago, and we've been able to stay connected and like have these Zoom chats and
Aww.
whatever. I've read to him a couple of times. We're actually going to play a video game together a little bit later after Never
Wow.
Normal, because I promised him I would if he came on the show. And so like, I'm able, that's a perk, right? That's a perk of technology, is that we're able to stay connected even though I'm no longer his nanny and I live 3,000 miles away. So
It's really beautiful. It's beautiful that, like, I can't imagine if technology was like this when my grandmother was alive. I would love to be able to
can you
have seen her
imagine?
all the time, because I grew up in a different part of the United States, so I couldn't see her. Like, I would have loved that. Another thing I love about technology is on Facebook, the groups. I am in so many like really positive groups that I just love. I love it. Like, Facebook itself, I don't read people's pages, like, because I don't want to get upset by anything. But I mean, I only follow people that I care about, but and that have kind of the same opinions or whatever. But my Facebook groups are just like, I learn so much from them. I love them.
Yeah, I think they can be really informative. Like, I have a lot of groups that I go to, and in fact, like in the last year or two, I mean, we've talked about this in the show before, going through like my spinal surgery, just appeal and everything. Like, I joined a group for people who have had lumbar spinal stenosis and people who have decided on surgery or not decided on surgery. And this group has been very supportive. There are some people who are pro surgery, some not. Some people have given me really amazing ideas and links to exhausting non-surgical options. And I'm thinking, when I had to just depend on an insurance company and not actual human beings who had experienced this process,
Yeah.
it wasn't the same conversations that I could have with actual people who had lived this. And then there were people who were posting pictures that were post-op, or people who didn't. Like, I have felt so elevated and supported through that journey of getting my spinal surgery because of Facebook support groups. Like,
Yeah,
I gotta
that's
give
a
it to them.
perfect example, because you get the answers from real people, and it's not like on Yelp where you don't know if somebody's out to get somebody, if
Right.
somebody has been paid to write something. Like, these are real people you could talk to, and then you can say, can I message you, like have a one-on-one talk to you, to get really great feedback on other people's experience, strength and hope with your the spinal. Like, that's absolutely priceless. So
Absolutely.
that
And
part.
I had this really beautiful moment a couple of years ago with a girl that I had gone to school with. Her name was Chris Kelly, many years ago, like elementary school.
Chris
And
Kelly, that's another great
Chris
name.
Kelly, I think we actually are still friends. I mean, we are friends on Facebook, but we haven't been
Chris
in a
Kelly.
dialogue. But she's amazing. And when we were really young, this is what was really cool about this exchange. When we were really young, she was an ice skater. And I remember, like, before school, she had to go like ice skating for like hours before she even had to like go to school. Like, she was one of those like professional skaters young. And I was so impressed. Like, and I wanted to be her friend, because there was something about it. Even when I was young, like, I knew I wanted to be an artist. And even though it was like sort of different than ice skating, like, I really respected the fact that she knew what she wanted really young. I kind of
But
felt
it's
like,
just like ice skating.
yeah, just like ice skating. But I felt like a little bit of an anomaly being so young, like 7, 8, 9. Like, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with my life. And she had the same sort of like laser focus on wanting to be an ice skater. And I felt like young kids were in this place of play. Not that I wasn't, but that there weren't a lot of kids like me that like wanted to pursue a career as a child, basically. And so at any rate, we were very close when we were young, and then we lost contact. I went into I left Sandwich. I moved out of the town, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, 25 years goes by, life happens. And I start to pursue my comedy and all of my stuff that I'm posting on social media and all this stuff. And she private messages me one day and says, I abandoned ice skating about 15 years ago, and I just thought I couldn't do anymore, and it wasn't. And then I remember you saying that you wanted to be a performer when you were 5, and seeing all your stuff on social media, and you're still doing it in your late 30s, and you haven't given up. She was like, I just wanted you to know that I put on a pair of ice skates and went ice skating the other day because of your post.
Oh my
And it
God.
just about melted my like. I thought, this is my why. This is literally why I do everything that I do, was for moments like that, where like, here she was like 38 years old and given up on this so many years. And just because I decided to like stay present about my journey, exploring my art, it inspired somebody to like get up and do something. And I'm like, that is like that gorgeous human connection that we get, that how else would she have ever had any level of connection to me had it not been for social media.
Right.
You know,
Right.
in that moment. So
It's
moments
important.
like,
Yeah, it's important for our souls to do what to utilize our gifts. It's like a prayer in itself.
yeah.
So it's great that you got to be that for her.
Yeah, and I just felt like, and I hope she's still skating, you know?
Yeah. So you're living your life like a prayer. It's beautiful. Just like a prayer. You can live on a prayer, just like, please, everybody, please. Or you could live like a prayer. Living like a prayer is
I
better.
like that.
Yeah.
I always say a prayer is anything that starts with I am. You know?
I am absolutely phenomenal.
Totally. We gotta own it, right?
Yeah.
But can I tell you, Jackie, I've also had some social media like nightmares, and oh my God, did you see the mob boss that was caught by like doing a cooking show on YouTube?
It's hilarious.
It's freaking hilarious, because YouTube, like, I don't want to dog YouTube because I love it. I have a YouTube channel, but this is another like perfect conversation to have about the pros and cons of using social media. But for those of you guys who don't know, there was like this mafia boss that got caught because he now does this like weekly show on YouTube where he does a cooking show now, and somebody watched it and like linked him to like a mafia crime from years ago, and then they like found him and they bagged him from having a cooking show on YouTube.
It's hilarious.
So,
it's funny that he couldn't curtail it. He couldn't curtail it. He had to like be on YouTube. Like
if I was a mafia boss that was committing crimes, I don't know that I would start a YouTube channel.
Like, it's so funny. It's so funny. Like, oh my God. Like, okay, like put yourself in that position. Like you're trying to hide from the feds, and you're like, man, I just gotta show people how I make my fettuccine. Like, I can't keep this to myself. I've got to. And then you're like, your other part of you is like, Renee, you're wanted. Like, you're wanted in
50 states. Maybe.
People are after you from all the cops and the mafia. Like, stay off YouTube. And you're like, you're in bed and you're just like, nope. The world needs to know how I make my sauce. The world needs to know. Like, they won't find me. I won't show my face. Like,
But can I just tell you, this is the problem with social media, is I totally want to go follow this guy now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's what happens. Now I'm like, wait, this mafia boss got bagged on YouTube? Like, he's definitely going to get like quadruple the subscribers now, even if he like does a prison sentence. So it's like, was that bad? I mean, I guess it's bad for him because he got caught for doing a crime.
Hey,
but for the rest of us, this is very entertaining.
Maybe he was living with a nag of a wife and he was like, I got to get out of here. And now he can really do his own YouTube channel, really focus on that from prison. Can you do YouTube from prison?
I don't know, but like I as a member, I've broken my anonymity in the show before. I speak on hospitals and institution panels for Narcotics Anonymous, and like I speak through Zoom in prisons when I volunteer my time. So they have access to the technology.
How many times have you done that now?
I'm on a panel, so I do it usually on Wednesdays.
Every Wednesday? Wow.
Not every Wednesday. It depends on when they bring. Sometimes I'm just finding people for the panel, and other times I actually speak on the panel. So, but yeah, it's weird. It's weird performance.
When I speak on it, I've done drugs.
Oh my God, yeah. You should
That's just
definitely
not my
speak at an
program.
H&I panel.
I would love to do it. I mean, I've done.
And we always need female speakers too. Like, and
Yeah.
right now that things have moved to Zoom, which is interesting, is when I used to do them live, females only went to the female prisons and males only went to the male prisons. But now that it's on Zoom, it's almost interesting because they're getting exposure to the recovery of, you know, both
Yeah.
genders. And I think in a weird way, that's like, it's sort of good. But there's, I don't know, I've also had weird moments doing, I gotta be honest, I did an H&I panel in a men's prison last week, and I was the most scared of like the pretty white boys, because I just had that moment like looking at these pretty white boys that were like accused of murder, where you're like, you know, they did it.
Yeah. Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they did it. Just when you're that gorgeous and white and privileged, I'm like, wow. You know, I find it so much more frightening.
Yeah. Seeing the black guy.
Because that's just the truth. We're gonna see some controversial shit up here.
Yeah.
But when I see an imprisoned person of color, I'm like, I don't know, they probably didn't do it.
Right, exactly. You're like, this guy might not have done it.
And
You know.
yeah, you know what I mean? But a pretty white boy, you're like, fuck.
You're like, what
Did
the fuck did
it.
he
He
do?
definitely did it.
What the fuck did he do? Oops.
Totally.
What the hell? Oops.
Anyway.
I do H&I as well for AA, but I have tried every drug I ever heard of, but not
You're
anymore.
a perfect candidate.
Not anymore. But they want me to send a video, so I'm sending a video,
Interesting.
and I'm like, it feels weird to like be like checking my lighting and being like, when I did it, like I'm just like, it's weird them sending a video to prison. Like doing Zoom is okay, the video feels weird, but it's not like
It is a little weird.
It's not like they're gonna
Do they get to throw back and watch the video later? I don't know.
Yeah, like they won't be able to do that, right?
I don't know. Like maybe they're able to like, do they go into a computer lab and like watch videos? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's news to me. I'm very grateful. I'm a crazy recovering drug addict that's done some stupid shit that probably could have gotten me a 20-year prison sentence. And the fact that I can sit in a room right now and do this show, I am so grateful. Freedom.
There is no freedom.
The fact that I can't relate to this experience. Although, speaking of social media in prison, I did actually think that I was going to, in my naivete, go to prison for doing something really bad on social media. This is a public service announcement, and I'm going to totally put it on blast since we're on this topic. But for those of you that are following us on my YouTube channel, you will notice I don't have a lot of following. And it was actually because I was banned from YouTube for many years. And do you know why? Oh my God, this is like a total perfect segue, because when Pride Comedy Jam came out, which, guys, Pride Comedy Jam is the first Showtime special that Jackie Monahan and I did together. That is where we met as stand-up comics. And it was on Showtime, and it was my first national television debut. And the people in the special were... The people in the special, like Miss Jackie over here, that was your third TV special? Yeah, so this is sort of my point. I was the least notable in the special. And I noticed that like when I was watching other people's clips on social media, that a lot of people had a larger following, a lot more hits. And I'm like, I put my little clip on my YouTube channel at the time, and I'm like, it got like 7 hits. And I'm like, my God, I can't look like I was looking for representation at the time. I'm like, I can't look like I have no following at all. So do not do this. Disclaimer. So I was like, well, I just need to like buy some followers or something, so I look like I can kind of hold my own with the other people that were in this special, right? Including you, Suzanne Westenhofer, who's like a huge comic.
Nico
Santos, who's totally a celebrity. He's on that what is the sitcom he's on, Jackie?
Store Nabbers.
Superstore. Yeah, he's a series regular on Superstore. So a lot of people were pretty famous in the special, and I was like, I at least just got to look like I belong on the same stage with these people, right? So I'm like, I'll just buy a few hits. Well, I did not realize that the buying hits is called spidering, and it's actually like illegal if you get too many hits. But so I buy this guy, like I pay this guy like a flat rate, and the very next day I have 15 million fans in the Philippines. And I was like, what the fuck? Oh my God. So YouTube flags me. I went from 7 hits to 15 million fans in the Philippines 24 hours later. And all of a sudden, like, because then you monetize after you, and I was like, that's not what I meant. I meant just like a few more hits. So I look like I moderately belong to the special. I didn't need 14 million fans in the Philippines. But now I have a joke when people tell me that I look like Sarah Silverman. I'm like, I'm not Sarah Silverman, but I do have 14 million fans in the Philippines. What? So at any
Well, Renee is, I guess I think that you guys can still hear me, but we can't see Renee. I'm going to screenshot her so she can see what we're dealing with. I wonder which one of us is frozen. Maybe I'm not frozen and she is, but I'm going to keep talking until one of us isn't frozen anymore. So I think they found her. Oh, you're back. Okay.
Sorry about that.
It's interesting that you were talking about that and then it happens and you get frozen.
And then literally my internet.
We're like, we caught you again, Renee Santos.
I know, like I just got pulled up. No. Don't worry, I don't buy fans anymore, which is why we only have 3 viewers right now.
No, we have a lot of viewers. See, here comes Trista as we speak.
Hey, Trista.
I can hear Jackie Renee just unfroze. Guess what, you guys? The best thing, Trista just said you look funny. The best thing about
what, I'm funny looking?
Yeah, I screenshot it so I could send it to you.
Oh my God, that's really funny. Trista, you missed the segment with Ari Fenton on. You'll have to watch it back later. It's pretty funny.
Hi, Trista. Hi, Colleen.
Hi,
I can hear Jackie. Hi, ladies. Colleen.
Thanks for being here. We're talking about social media pros and cons, the perks of it and what is not good.
I've had stalkers on social media. I had to get a restraining order on one guy.
Do tell.
Yeah, we had this before too. He was making different accounts and threatening me, and he told me my best friend was dead. All this crazy stuff. So I had to get a restraining order on him. And then, and he was making different accounts, and like I would block him and he would make an account via somebody else and come after me, and like, it was awful. But you could totally tell it was his tone every time. Like, it's so creepy, but thank God. Yeah. And then I had another stalker who actually called herself a psycho dyko. And then I was like, that's gotta just be like a joke and funny. And then I went under her social media and I was like, well, let me see her other profile pictures. And there was like pictures of guns. It was so creepy. Creepy. If your profile picture's a gun, I might not be interested in talking to you. But she would come to my shows and give me presents. It was so terrifying.
That is pretty terrifying. I mean, I have such mixed feelings about social media, and especially being like a performing artist too, because you can get crazy stalkers. Although, like, initially it's kind of exciting. You're like, oh my God, I've made it. I have a stalker. And then it can get scary, and you're like, ooh, this is not nearly as fun or cool as I thought.
Stalkers always seem more fun than they are.
Then they are. And then you're like, no, they could actually kind of kill me. So that's
they're terrifying. Yeah.
They're actually terrifying. Yeah. But I think in many ways it's such a blessing that we can be like, I think as human beings in general, we all want to be seen, right? Isn't that ultimately the human experience? Like we just all want to be acknowledged and visible.
I think heard. I think not everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to be heard.
No, I mean seen in the bigger, I don't mean physically seen. I mean seen as a person on the planet, Yeah. The proverbial scene,
Can I tell you about a time that a guy wanted to be seen?
Oh God.
I was running cross country. Did I tell you this story before? I ran cross country in high school, and I always had to stop And my friend always could keep going. And I was like, Kelly, I'm getting headphones. Do not stop me. Because once I stop, I can't keep going. I can't start again. So I'm like, just let me keep going. I got these headphones. Like, I know I'm going to be fine. And all of a sudden she stopped and she kept like trying to get me. I was like, no, I'm keeping the headphones on and running. And she was just like, stop. And she was like, stop. And I'm like, what? And I took the headphones off and you could hear some guy going, whistling and being like, ladies, and whistling. I mean, we were high school kids. And I looked to where the whistling was coming from. And it was a guy, full man, in his doorway, just naked, posing for us.
Oh my God.
He wanted to be seen.
Oh, he did want to be seen.
He was somebody that didn't care about his voice being seen. He wanted to be seen.
Wow. That is very, very rough.
I screamed at the top of my lungs and we started running. We were just like, but you know, he loved it. These 15-year-olds screaming, and running. He loved it.
That is so weird and creepy. Well, I will have to say that, like, as much as we all want to be heard, maybe not seen, although this whole coronavirus quarantine thing, I'm so excited about us getting vaccinated because we actually are going to get to be seen. Like,
we're going to get to
really
see each other.
See each other and not be in lockdown. And this is a perfect time. Speaking of lockdown, guys, Jackie just recently did an amazing video about being in lockdown. Talk about being seen. I can't wait to actually see you again. So we're going to begin to wrap up the show. I'm going to give you guys a little clip of Jackie here, and then we're going to end with my newest Purple Hoodie parody that is very much about this quarantine. I parodied the social distancing song of our generation, The Police's Don't Stand So Close to Me. Thank you guys so much for joining us on Never Normal.
We love you.
We love you. Let's take it away with Jackie in lockdown, everybody. Jackie in...
What's up, Jackie?
Hey, just quarantining a lot. What's up with you? Just doing a lot of quarantining. It's not cool. It's a cool thing. You know, that's what people do now. Quarantine. Lock down. This is locked down. Lockdown. I'm on lock it down. Lock it down. You know what I'm saying? Lockdown.
School teacher, new learning of lesson plans on Zoom. The kids are stir crazy, parents are filled with doom. No silence, kids unfocused, iPad keeps falling off its stand. Doors ringing, it's Postmates, leave outside, don't want to risk touching your hand. Don't stand, don't stand, don't stand so close to me. Don't stand so close to me. The kids want to go hiking. You know how quarantine gets. Face masks she made were not so easy, but they passed the COVID test. Temptation, frustration, she just wants to go outside. No restaurants are open, she can't even find an Uber ride. Don't stand, don't stand, don't stand so close to me. Don't stand, don't stand, don't stand so close to me. Defiance with face masks over their nose and mouth. It's like having your ball sack covered, leaving your dick hanging out. Don't get sick, they'll jump you if you just have a regular cough. Calls to unemployment take forever. Thank God you have the whole day off. Don't stand, don't stand, don't stand so close to me.